ready.
Are we?
Yeah, I think we have to wait for Angie. Oh, there's a third one.
Oh my gosh. Just wait, man.
Did she ask us to wait?
And back again.
Oh, rest.
I'm sure you don't have that much to talk about.
That's funny.
Anytime.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Good evening. If you can hear my voice, clap once. If you can hear my voice, clap twice. Wonderful. Good evening. I'd like to call this meeting to order. Welcome to our April 4th board meeting. Could we have a roll call?
Mr. Rich will not be with us this evening. Ms. Fox.
Here.
Ms. Williams.
Here.
Ms. Heinrich.
Here.
Ms. Smith.
Here.
I myself am here. Dr. Blau.
I am here.
We have a quorum.
Wonderful. Let us all stand for the... I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Is there a motion for the approval of the agenda? Yes, Ms. Heinrich.
I move that the Board of Education approve the April 4th, 2023 regular meeting agenda as presented.
Support.
Motion by Ms. Heinrich, supported by Mr. Walker. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. Wonderful. Well, good evening, everyone. We apologize for the delay. We had a closed session board meeting just prior to this, and we needed a few moments to answer nature's call. So thank you for your patience with us. I would like to begin by explaining that according to the Open Meetings Act, a board is not allowed to discuss board business when there are 4 or more of us present unless the public has been advised ahead of time that we are meeting and is invited to bear witness to our meeting and our conversation. So while we are glad that you are here, and those of you who might be watching at home, we welcome your attendance, we wanted to explain that these meetings are the only opportunity that we as a board have to get together, all of us in the same room, and have these conversations, share this information, and dialogue together. So while we recognize that they tend to be lengthy, and some of the presentations also from other members of our community and our district might seem tedious to our public, they are an essential part of our work as an effective, committed, involved board. So we apologize and thank you for giving us the opportunity to be together twice a month to hear these presentations, to celebrate successes in our district, and to dialogue and discuss the matters at hand that we can make wise decisions for our students. So just wanted to clarify, while these are meetings held in public, they're not public meetings. They are meetings of the Board of Education held in public. So thank you for understanding. I'd also like to share that Dr. Delgado and I just returned from the National School Board Association 2023 National Conference, at which we presented on how to work together as a board to change the culture of our board from one of conflict and chaos to collaboration and treating one another with mutual respect. It went very well, and I thank you, Dr. Delgado, for joining me on that adventure. We had opportunities to dialogue with lots of other board members and superintendents from across the country to to hear about some of the ways in which others are implementing some of the kinds of innovative things that we have been discussing about implementing in our district for our students here. Many people were very interested to learn about our profile of a lifelong learner and some of the things that we're doing with our strategic planning. So it was a wonderful opportunity to share with others from across the country, and to both learn from and teach others. There are a lot of wonderful things that have been going on in our district today. We had our Rise and Thrive Awards program, wonderful to celebrate our students' successes, though we are confident that these will not be that these will be but their first of many successful accomplishments. It was delightful to celebrate them today. And that is all I have to share at the moment. So let us go ahead with our Winter Sports Athletes Recognitions.
Thank you, Dr. Blau. It's my pleasure to welcome to the podium Mr. Tom Shelton, who is our Director of both School Safety and Athletics. We're pleased to continue a tradition that we're hoping to start this year, where we break up the athletic seasons into 3 separate recognitions. So you may recall, if you watch religiously our board meetings, we had a fall sports recognition, and this is our winter one, and our spring one will be at the very final meeting on June 20th. And so we want to do it while the seasons are fresh in everyone's minds, when by now we know most of the accolades, the postseason accolades, and we have a lot to celebrate for winter sports. And so I want to just say thank you in advance to all the parents who have supported your kids, and we know the benefits that athletics offers for our young people. So, Mr. Shelton, take it away.
Thank you, Dr. Delgado. And thank you, Boards of Education, for giving us the opportunity to recognize these outstanding students that you are going to meet in just a couple of minutes. Would just like to start by saying, when we did this first time in the fall, my first time as District Athletic Director, it was a huge group, and I thought there's no way that we can match this. This is just an exceptional season, and here we are again with our winter athletes. So we had an outstanding winter season across the district. Tonight we're going to recognize several teams as well as several individuals, and we're very proud of those students. We know that, as Dr. Delgado said, it comes with significant sacrifice and hard work from families and also from coaches. So this is a celebration of those people as well tonight. Several of our coaches and students could not be here tonight because of different conflicts. We have several coaches who are also coaching spring sports right now and couldn't make it. We have several students involved in activities. As we go through the awards, I'm still going to acknowledge those students and read their names, as they may be watching from home online or later at a recording, or just in general, we need to acknowledge those students as well. I should also mention that it's sometimes challenging to capture everything, to get everybody that we should get. So I will apologize in advance if we miss somebody with a certificate or anything like that. We'll make sure that we get the acknowledgement out where it needs to be. So thank you again. I'd like to introduce our 2 building athletic coordinators who are going to help tonight distribute the awards. Mr. Mike Cahill is our athletic coordinator at Farmington High School, new to the position this year. And Stacy Punzel is our athletic coordinator at North Farmington High School. So they're a significant part of making our athletic programs work as well, and they're going to help me as we go through these many awards tonight. So with no further ado, we're going to start with our boys basketball team from Farmington High School. And anybody present from Farmington High School boys basketball, as well as we have an individual from that team as well. Coach could not make it tonight, so I'll go ahead and read what he had prepared and what he'd like me to share with everybody. Coach is acknowledging an individual from Farmington High School tonight by the name of Greg Grays. And he's honoring Greg as an outstanding freshman season. He led the team in scoring and was one of the leading scorers in the league. And as a team, Farmington High School had a great season this year. A lot of positive moments, a lot of strengths, and we're very proud of both Greg as well as the Farmington High School basketball team. And we'll make sure we get his certificate to him. Next up, we have Farmington High School boys swim. So if we could have members of the Farmington High School boys swim team come up, what we're going to have you do is line up in this area here in front of the board. I'll just hand them to you. Yeah. Yeah.
Do you want to just let everybody know?
Okay, so we have 3 present here tonight and many others not. And we're going to go through these, and I'd like to acknowledge, I know Coach Drew felt bad that he could not make it tonight, but our boys had a great season this year. We're super proud of them and what they achieved.
Mr. Shelton, I'm
Yes.
sorry. Can I just interrupt you for a second?
Yes.
Yes, we will be calling a short recess when you're done presenting all of the awards so that we can come out and take pictures with our athletes and congratulate you.
Perfect. I should have
Don't leave.
I should have said that. Thank you.
okay.
And parents, if you want to get ready to take your pictures now, you can feel free to do that as well.
Perfect. Thank you. So our first award for Farmington High School in the All-State 200 free individual in swimming. This goes to Mr. Brendan Golitz. Stay up here, because I think you got some more, I think. Farmington High School All-League 100 fly individual goes to Paul DiMartini. Farmington High School All-League 50 free individual in swimming goes to Leland Kurnovic. Stay where you're at, Leland. Leland's also being acknowledged as All-State 50 free individual, so congratulations. Another one for Mr. DiMartini. Paul DiMartini is being recognized as All-State 200 medley relay. Couple that I don't believe are here. Mr. Zach Kipf is being recognized as also part of the All-State 200 medley relay. As is Lachlan Hart. All-State 400 free relay, Paul DiMartini. All-State 400 free relay, Brendan Golitz. All-State 400 free, Joshua Liu. All-State 400 free relay, Leland Kurnovic. All-League 200 medley relay, Paul DiMartini. All-League 200 medley relay, Leland Kurnovic. All-League 200 medley relay, Zach Kipf. Also All-League 200 medley relay, Lachlan Hart. All-League 200 free relay, Brendan Golitz. All-League 200 free relay, Joshua Liu. All-League 200 free relay, Jack Tomlinson. All-League 200 free relay goes to Leland Kurnovic. All-League 400 free relay goes to Joshua Liu. All-League 400 free goes to Paul DiMartini. All-League 400 free goes to Jack Tomlinson. All-League 400 free goes to Brendan Golitz. And All-State 200 medley relay goes to Leland Kurnovic. Another round of applause, please, for our Farmington High School swim team. Thank you, guys. You can go back to your seats. Next, we have the Farmington High School girls basketball team. We have 2 individual awards for them. Coach Laura couldn't be here tonight, but she did want me to express her gratitude to the board for acknowledging these 2 young ladies who are being recognized as all-league individuals, which is quite an honor. So I'd like to invite Carissa Hankins and Yasmin Thorpe. If you're here, could you come up to the front? Well, let's acknowledge them. Farmington High School girls basketball all-league, Carissa Hankins. And Farmington High School all-league individual, Yasmin Thorpe. Next, we have United Gymnastics, and you get to stop listening to me talk for a minute, and it's my pleasure to invite Coach Jeff Dwyer up to introduce his team.
Hi. I'm not going to ask for money this year. I did last year, if you remember. So there's 11 of 17 girls, and team-wise, we went from 9 girls with COVID, right? That cut down on our numbers quite a bit, and then they recruited. So we're graduating 4 seniors, but then we got a lot of young young gymnasts. This is a tough group. Don't let the looks deceive you. They're really, really tough. They were 3rd in the state this year. So individually, just maybe step forward. Grace Spencer, senior. Abby Spencer, freshman. Michaela Harrison, freshman. Kylie Rintz, freshman. Ellie Somerton, freshman. Marty Jacobs, senior. Bella Thibodeau, sophomore. Izzy Deshan, junior. Elena Enzavino, sophomore. Sophia Yee, sophomore. Ayla Hogard, freshman. So girls, again, nice job, and team-wise, we were regional champs, okay, leading up to that, first place at region. And with such a young team, we hope to be back here next year, right? Same attitude, right? All right, state qualifiers, and I don't know how you have these, but I'll just list the individual, and then if they were on multiple events, I'll just do it that way. So Grace Spencer qualified on every event, vault, bars, beam, floor, and the all-around. Just really nice. Elena qualified on vault and bars. Sophia on vault, bars, floor, and all-around. Ayla on bars. Marnie on floor. And Peyton Beals, who's not here, on bars and beam. Yeah, I just figured it might be easier.
Yes, exactly. Elena? Grace? Sophia? Isabella? Marty Jacobs? Ayla Hogard? Peyton Beals is not here, correct? Okay. These are the team awards.
Okay.
So we also have prepared 2 different team awards for our gymnastics team. One for their achievement as a regional champion team, and the second for their placement in 3rd in the state of Michigan. So I'll pass these certificates down, one for each of you.
And while they're passing these out, the last I would like to mention girls who were all-state. And so to be all-state, you got to finish in the top 10 of a particular event at state meet. Sophia Yee on floor exercise. Sophia placed 9th. Marnie Jacobs on floor exercise. She placed 6th. Bella Thibodeau on the uneven bar. She placed 6th. Elena Enzavino on vault placed 5th. And Grace Spencer had an awesome meet. On bars, she placed 2nd. On beam, she placed 8th. And the all-around is the accumulation of all 4 events. It's the hardest thing that you can qualify. And she was 3rd in the state this year. Okay. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. We have another big acknowledgement coming up next, and that's to our North Farmington High School boys basketball team. Could members of the boys basketball team please come up and stand where the girls just were? If you. Yeah. Okay. Well, we're still going to acknowledge them. Give me just a minute to grab your certificates. There's a lot of them.
They win districts.
Okay, for North Farmington boys basketball, we have several team awards as well as several individual awards. I know Coach Negocian felt terrible that he couldn't be here tonight. He had something of a personal nature come up at the last minute. But I do want to start by acknowledging Coach Negocian, who was recognized as the OAA League Coach of the Year. And it's quite an achievement, nominated by his colleagues. And so please join me in congratulating Coach Negocian for his Coach of the Year. We have 3 team awards for the North Farmington boys basketball team before we go into the individual awards. The first team award is for the North boys basketball division champions, which is quite an achievement. So they were division champions this year. They were also district champions, and they were regional finalists. They made it all the way to what they call the Sweet 16 and made quite a run of it. So North Farmington boys basketball team had a phenomenal season. We're super proud of them, and we'll make sure that they get these certificates to acknowledge their accomplishment. We also have several individual awards that I'd like to call out. The first is for a young man named Ryan Hurst. Ryan Hurst was named as a Mr. Basketball finalist in the state of Michigan this year. To my knowledge and Coach Negocian's, we've never had a Mr. Basketball finalist in the district. To this point, it's quite an achievement. It's really, of all the basketball players in the state, I think he's one of the top 5 as a finalist, and he may still be acknowledged as the finalist. So very proud of Ryan for that. Ryan was also acknowledged as the Hometown Life Player of the Year in basketball this year. And a young man by the name of Makai Jackson was named an All-League individual in basketball this year. We also had Landon Williams, All-League individual. We had quite a few All-Leagues. Another All-League individual, Tyler Spratt. Ryan Hurst was also recognized as an All-League individual. And honorable mention in league is Lee Hardy. Another honorable mention, Donovan Williams. And then the last honorable mention in boys basketball was for Dwayne Ray. So if you could please join me in congratulating those students. Our next award is for our Farmington United hockey team. And we have one individual award. And I believe Coach Leeds was going to be, there he is. Come on up, Zach. This is our Farmington United hockey team, and we have, I believe, one individual, if you want to come up.
Yeah, Brady.
Brady, come on up.
Try to make it short and sweet here. I'm Anthony Leeds. I'm a Farmington Public School alumni, so it's kind of cool seeing this all come full circle with Brady here. I'll talk real briefly just about his point stuff, then kind of talk real briefly about Brady as a person. So he was a freshman this year. In 23 games played, he had 25 points, so he averaged a little bit more than a point a game. He was the leading freshman point scorer in the entire OAA as a defenseman. We appointed him as assistant captain halfway through the year. And that just kind of speaks to who he is. It's kind of rare you give that kind of leadership to a freshman. But, I was put in a position here to rebuild this program. And special programs have special players, and those special players need a special leader. And you're looking at the face of the program the next 3 years here. So, doing things to build a program. We did a middle school tour this year. We went to all 4 middle schools. With STEAM included in that, and just had fun with them at lunchtime and all that. Brady was a big part of that, kind of mixing it up with all the students. And, our belief at our team and our program is we're the community's hockey team. And, you need guys like Brady to buy in. He comes from a AAA background, and when you can get a player of his caliber to kind of buy in and come play high school, it means a lot. You can attract even more players to come on in and play. And that all comes from his parents back home, his mom and stepdad, his dad, his family here. Just a great support system. When we would have snow days or whatever, he actually, the garage at his house turned into a pretty much Farmington United gym, and a lot of the boys were there working out. And so There's a few other kids that by the time our OA hockey, we do things a little slow sometimes. A few other guys were nominated for things, but Brady, I'm proud of you, buddy. You did a great job this year, and can't wait for the next few years, bud. Good job.
Congratulations, Brady. Next, we have members of our North Farmington High School boys bowling team, as well as the girls bowling team. If we have any members here, come on up. It's my pleasure to introduce Coach Dwayne Anderson, who's going to present tonight's awards, and I'll try to keep up along with the help of Mr. Cahill and Mrs. Punzel.
Thank you. First, I want to just thank the board for allowing us to have this ceremony today. It means a lot to the players and to the family, and especially me as a coach to be able to be acknowledged in a forum like this. So I just want to tell you a little bit about our program before we acknowledge our players. This is the 20th year of bowling in the Farmington School District. Our program has grown and grown over the years, and this year we had 59 kids try out for bowling. And we were only able to keep 35 kids, so that tells you that I had to cut like 24 kids. The hardest thing I had to do is to tell kids that they couldn't bowl. But from our successes, breeds more success, and kids want to get involved. One of the things I want to point out to you is that there was a study that was done that boys bowling nationally is ranked 3rd in the nation for Michigan, and girls bowling nationally is ranked, boys are 2nd and girls are 3rd in participation, and that's over all the other 18 sports that are in high school. So bowling is alive, and bowling is available for everyone. I just want to let you know that it's ranked that high as far as participation amongst boys and girls. So going on with that, our accomplishments this year, the year before we had a great team, and that team came up short. We kind of called them the super team because they went undefeated 2 years in a row. And 4 of those 6 boys graduated, and we had 4 new boys be promoted from junior varsity up to varsity. And that team exceeded what the super teams couldn't do, which was to turn around and win a Division I title. So just give them a hand for that. So not only did they win that division title in style, from the first ball thrown to the last ball that was thrown, they were at the very top from start to finish. So it was an exceptional year. They went to states. They came up 13th in states among the Division I. So I'm very proud to have those guys put together hard work. Here are 2 of my seniors that are graduating. Dominic. It's funny, for 4 years I keep pronouncing his name Dominic, but he knows. And Markel. So let's give them a round. The other boys that couldn't be here, but we'll call their names as well. So first we have Dominic. Come on up. Now he also has the highest series for the highest series bowled in the OAA this year, and he also was a state series with a 513? Yeah, it's very high, very high. Yeah. So in case most of you may not know, Dominic's been bowling for a long time, and he's going to Rochester University on a full scholarship for bowling. So let's turn around for that. So the other member of our team is Markel King. Markel also plays football and decided to join our bowling team 2 years ago and has been an outstanding player since he joined. So congratulations to Markel. So of those 6 boys that were here, there's several that couldn't come, and I don't have their names in front of me, but I just want to announce them. Stephen Harp. You guys can go ahead and clap. Brian Rivers. One thing about Brian originally was a JV2 bowler. We had a bowler that got hurt, And Brian came from JV2 all the way to varsity and performed very well to help his team win that regional title. So that's a big step and a big commitment for him to come up and do that. So. Come on over, Markel. Let me see this. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, these are for the other. So Joshua Brenner, who also plays baseball, and I think he also plays tennis. He couldn't be here today, and he also achieved a high award with a 532 series. So congratulations to Joshua. Sticking together. As I mentioned earlier, Stephen's not here, but Stephen also achieved a 509 series in bowling. So we bowled 2 games to create that type of series numbers, and they were the highest in the state. Thank you very much. So for our girls bowling, we had basically a brand new set of girls because we had 4 girls graduate last year. So we had 6 of 8 new girls this year to join our varsity team. So right now, I think Angel is here. Can you come on up, Angel? Now, Angel and Dom were 2 of the captains on the varsity teams, and I just want to acknowledge them for a great season that you did with the team and just running the program. So Angel had a high series for the OAA out of the girls in the white division. I want to say congratulations to you for your high series. So that should cover everything for our boys and girls. Thank you very much.
Congratulations, bowlers, and thank you, Coach. Our last group for tonight is our North Farmington girls basketball team. If we have any players from the North Farmington girls basketball team, please come up. Coach Simpson felt really bad he couldn't be here tonight. Unfortunately, he's coaching softball at North tonight. So, he did prepare some remarks about how proud he is of the team, both as a team as a whole, as well as some of the individual accomplishments, of which we're just seeing a small piece tonight. To start, we have a team award for the whole team, and we'll make sure that the rest of the team gets these certificates. But we'd like to acknowledge the North Farmington girls varsity basketball team for achieving the status of OAA White Division champions in an undefeated regular season. So congratulations. We do have several individual awards as well. I'd like to start by acknowledging Coach Jeff Simpson, who was acknowledged as the League Coach of the Year for girls basketball. So we had both Coaches of the Year at North Farmington High School this year. We have an all-league individual in basketball from North Farmington High School. That is Hannah Hart. All-league in girls basketball, Penelope Creary. All-league in girls basketball from North Farmington High School, Sela Leffler. League honorable mention for basketball this year goes to Asiya Jihad. League honorable mention goes to Hallie Rogers. And last but certainly not least, a league honorable mention this year for girls basketball goes to Eliza Muller. Congratulations to all of you. Congratulations, girls. You can go back to your seats. Before we break off, I just want to one more time thank everybody in the room for being here to celebrate these wonderful student athletes tonight. Thank you, board, for giving us the opportunity as well. And we'll look forward to bringing you more student athletes in June for the last meeting of the year. So, yes.
I would be remiss if I didn't take the opportunity to congratulate the undefeated North Farmington girls basketball team and take the privilege to embarrass and congratulate my niece, Haley Rogers.
And just to add fuel to your fire, Ms. Weems, I understand it's the first undefeated season ever in school history.
That is
for
amazing.
Farmington. Yes, yeah. So thank you very much. And I will turn things back over to the board.
Thank you, Mr. Shelton. A short recess has been planned on the meeting agenda to provide an opportunity for congratulations and photos. Is there any objection to taking a short recess? All right, and we will recess for just 5-10 minutes.
I got one.
Oh, got one, never mind.
So you need the people that are,
Good behavior. I think I was on camera the whole
you can take a picture of it. No, you can take it if you want.
Thanks. All right, Coach. Congrats, man. I might give that to Stacy. If you don't need it.
No, you don't.
You don't? Okay.
Little house in the prairie.
You could go to the other, the other attachment. But the bathroom is supposed to be very nice. It's not like it's a trailer. It's a trailer. Yeah, it's a trailer park right out there. I haven't been in it, but I've heard it's nice.
Always knocking me down.
Yeah, no, it's not,
This
it's
is
not,
knocking me down.
it's not like it's like a mobile home with a basement. It's outside the home, it's a big trailer. It's like a mobile home trailer.
I'm gonna miss this.
These are
Budget. Yay. Sure, yep. I'm the treasurer now too, yep. No problems. We have to vote on this?
I don't think you have to.
I'll give them all from this.
Just sharing. Just sharing.
You wanted to-
Okay. I want a grandbaby so bad. Per the Michigan School Board, the budget is to be submitted to its constituent districts by May 1st. The board of each district shall adopt a resolution of support or non-support. So we do have to vote on this. Just sometime before May 1st.
You can say that you viewed it with your expert eyes.
So we'll have to add it on the next meeting then,
Okay,
because our meeting after that is May 2nd.
gotcha. Okay, thank you.
That was lovely.
Memorize them, huh?
All right.
You mean the audience didn't want to stay for this?
Okay. Let's call this meeting back to order. Okay, folks, we're going to call the meeting. Okay, bye.
It's time to go.
That was so awesome, though. That was so, so awesome.
Did you see the little one?
Fantastic.
Blowing kisses to people. Oh, the little baby.
All right. Moving on to items from the secretary. Mr. Walker.
Thank you. The board has received communications regarding Head Start, Board Smart Goals, public school funding, North Farmington Musical, and Oakland Community College Community Outreach. Communications are acknowledged and a response is provided when appropriate. A list of correspondence can be found in the board packet, which is available on the FPS website.
Thank you, Mr. Walker. And now to Dr. Delgado for our district updates.
Do you have a legislative update?
Oh, sorry. Yes, I do have a legislative update. Thank you. Mr. Rich is not here, so I will step in for him. There is some legislation that might impact us that has to do with some of the things that we can and cannot include in our negotiations of contracts. And at the last OCSBA meeting, we heard about that, and recently some of us sent letters to the Supreme Court of the state of Michigan regarding those issues. And we'll see how that pans out in the coming weeks. Thank you. Now to our district update.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Blau. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to April, and back from spring break, 2 days after spring break. So for those who were able to get away, we hope you had a nice, restful break and are ready to go. For those who were working throughout, we know that that's an opportune time to prepare our buildings so they're clean and safe and ready for our students to return. So we greatly appreciate our employees who worked throughout the entire break. I did want to mention what was mentioned a little earlier today is that this morning we started our day really with a wonderful opportunity of our Rise and Thrive Awards, also known as the Turnaround Awards. That is a longstanding tradition, a community tradition with both of our law enforcement agencies as well as all of our schools to really recognize students that have overcome obstacles in their lives and really grown in their young lives. And so very inspirational stories, and it was nice to acknowledge them this morning, as it was nice to acknowledge all of our athletes as well tonight. I also want to mention that it is National Assistant Principals Week, and so as a former recovering assistant principal who survived 5 years in a high school, I feel your pain and I understand being an assistant principal, but it is a wonderful, wonderful position and a much needed position. Your assistant principal really is a person at all of the levels to really help students in multiple facets, to really be that liaison to families, to help give some guidance for their next steps, and to really kind of help support students in how they envision their future lives. So it's a very demanding job, but a very rewarding job, and we have some excellent, excellent assistant principals in this district, and we're just very happy and proud of all of you. So thank you to all of our assistant principals. I want to take a moment to promote, we have many spring events coming up, but two are our high school musicals. Farmington High School is sponsoring the Pajama Game. So showtimes are April 20th, 21st, and 22nd at 7:30. And then North Farmington High School is going to be doing The Addams Family, and that is April 27th, 28th, and 29th. All shows at 7 o'clock, and then an additional matinee at 1 p.m. So I just want to point out that in our efforts to be responsive to the community, to listen to our students, to listen to our parents, we had community feedback last year that people were asking us to have the musicals on different weekends. And in talking to parents and talking to some of the actors themselves, the students, they wanted to go see the other high schools' performance. And so we listened to them, we changed the dates, and we want to thank our directors and our administrative teams for doing that so everyone can enjoy these shows and can support each other in their theatrical endeavors. And then finally, just a final word from me directly to our students. And I don't know how many of you are watching a board meeting, but perhaps if your parents are, they can share this with you. Starting next week, I want to wish you all well on your series of state tests that are coming up. So beginning next week, we have 3rd through 8th grade who are going to be taking the M-STEP, our Michigan Standardized Test. Our 8th, 9th, and 10th graders are going to be taking the PSAT, a very important test and indicative of some future progress or performance on the SAT. Of course, our 11th graders, as all 11th graders around the country, have the really high stakes SAT test, as well as, in addition, they have to do the ACT work keys, and they have M-STEP as well. And so we begin a few weeks of testing, very high stakes testing, important testing. We know that it's one of many metrics to define a student success, but we also know it's something that our students can and will perform well in. And so we have been working very diligently to prepare them for academic achievement by all the definitions that we use. And so I'm not going to say good luck to our students because you don't need luck. You're prepared. Your teachers have prepared you because of their high quality instruction. What I would wish you well on the test, I won't say good luck, I'll wish you well. And so this is your opportunity as students to show to yourself, more than us, the adults, to show to yourself that application of learning that your teachers have taken so much time to instill that knowledge and those skills. And so we are optimistic about our spring testing cycle, and we're appreciative of our students for preparing for that adequately. So I will leave that as my end of my superintendent's update and move right along if it's okay, Dr.
Yes.
Blau? Okay, I saw our wonderful president of FAAPN, our Farmington African American Parent Network. This is Mr. Thomas Hall, who will come up to the podium.
Good evening, board. Thank you for having me. Again, my name is Thomas Hall from the Farmington African American Parent Network. I'm the president. And basically, this is our update to see what's happening with FAAPN, okay, for the month of April and May. But before I do that, I want to just recap what we have done last month in March. We touched a little bit on it, which was the financial literacy workshop, which was just super successful. It was like 70-something kids that registered, and it was so organized. I don't want to take all the credit for it, but you know there were a lot of people that was involved with the Michigan Schools and Government Credit Union that put it on, along with the help from Pearls of Promise Foundation and the Pearls of Service Foundation, which are sororities that came out, and they had like busloads of volunteers that came out and helped, and everything went so smoothly. In which that part of the curriculum or the financial workshop consists of like highlights from. They get this balance sheet, and what they do, they get a credit score. They say, okay, you're now an electrician, for example, and they say, here's your credit score. Now go out and make a living. Okay, they give you a budget that you make $3,000 a month or whatever. Now make it work. So my son and one of his friends had participated, and they came back and they were it was like a light bulb went out and say, wow, I didn't know growing up was this hard. So, you know, get a little gratitude and appreciation. And but I think my son made a little smart aleck remark when they said, well, what you have left over? And my son, I think he came up like $90 short for the month or whatever under, and I said, so what you gonna do? He said, don't worry about it, my dad got it. I was like, so this is a little bit more work I need to prepare him for. So this is some of the highlights of the kids that were in the role in different stations, like we're saying, you know, the shelter housing cars and everything. So this was very well. We had a couple of board members that attended and seemed very pleased with it, and I was just blown away with it. We also served lunch, so that was a good draw too. So it was fantastic. And the second one is now we're having next is our career and technical education like seminar. I won't say rally, but more like a workshop, seminar, and introduction of different career fields, because a lot of times these career, such as being a plumber, electrician, and all these things are kind of like not really pushed so much because everybody was pushing, hey, go to college. And I remember back, and a lot of you guys can remember also that we had a lot of people that were growing up was a plumber, and your dad probably owned a mason company, electrician, and it seemed like, for me, I grew up and I knew how to do like basic stuff around the house, and I asked my kid to help me hang this door or something like that, and I said, well, let me show you how I hang this door, and he, again, the same kid that I'm having an issue with, said, oh, don't worry about it, Dad, I'll just YouTube it. I was like, what? I'm trying to teach you how to do this, but you're going to YouTube on me? But anyway, so we need to bring back some of push these basic skills that I remember everybody, most of our people knew how to do, such as like I said, the plumber, the electrician. These are some great paying jobs. Great paying jobs that and I think because the demand of it, the scale has went up for the salary. So, you can come out and literally making six figures, once you get your journeyman license and all these things. So we're going to have that on April 29th, and that's on the Saturday right after tutoring, and it's going to be from 11 to 1. And we're teaming up with like Oakland Schools, also with Ms. Boyd from Farmington to help us put this together because they're the experts of it, and they bring all the resources here for us to actually do. And we have, like I said, a little quick seminar spill of everybody's career path, and then have them speak to different people in different genres or different employment. Also, in May, FAAPN is doing an ACT SAT workshop, which corresponds to right after everybody did the pre-SAT, and from that point they would say, okay, what do you need to work on to help push it to the next one? So we got a grant from the Farmington Hills Education Foundation that is putting that money towards to help defray the cost of the training. And we also got like a special discount, like a huge discount for people who wants to do it. Is for 2 Saturdays, which are May 13th and May 20th. And that's from, I believe, 9:30 to 12:30. So there's going to be literature. There's going to be literature that come out, flyers to show when, and then there's going to be like a big webinar for the expectation of the parents of what they need to do and all that stuff, so they can score well on it. And that was we're going to try to have one also in November. So we just got to coordinate a little bit, when the tests are taking and what they need to work on and all that stuff. So that's what we're doing with FAAPN. This Saturday, May 13th is the FAAPN's last free tutoring for 2023. From last year, we know it's a big drop off after Mother's Day and whatnot. So it was it was just because so much stuff was happening, baseball and all these sports, and we was not getting the turnout. So we're just gonna have our last tutoring session on May 13th, and we really appreciate all the people who helped out, everywhere from the Black Student Union, from the Hackbots who was there, are pretty much every weekend to help us out. Of course, the board members, we really appreciate you guys. And actually, not to single anybody out, but there was a parent that came, was talking to me and the superintendent, Dr. Delgado, saying that about Miss Dr. Blau for starting a book club, and she saw the growth, and she came up with the test scores and was showing us that, and we were like, wow, that's we were going to pass the message on to you. Yeah, so
Awesome.
So just to let you guys know that your efforts was not not taken for granted. We appreciate it. The kids appreciate it. I know it was a bomb from you guys to the kids, and I see a lot of light flicker, came back on, and the excitement and everything, and I know we really thank you, and the kids really appreciate everyone, and thank you, Ms. Fox, for your contribution, getting everybody to hustle down reading. I know I got a little murmurs, but a lot of people were like, okay, Ms. Fox is a little bit too hard, but they loved you though. They're saying, well, she straightened us up though. Yeah.
I treat them like I treat my children.
Yes, and of course, Ms. Hiron, thank you for your expertise and like that high math that I was like, whoo, they come in and I'm like, okay, what are we going to do with this geometry or this, this algebra 2? And you come in, it's like, okay, don't worry about it, just wep it out. And she got everything organized, and everybody come back and having, high grades than what they were if you didn't have there. So we thank you, and thank you for everyone who supported, came out, lend a hand, and to make this all successful, it takes volunteers and everybody for a village. So we really appreciate that. And we still need volunteers, for FAAPN, that if you have an interest of helping out children and getting resources, please contact us through FAAPN101@gmail.com. We always can use your help, and that's end of my presentation.
Very nice.
Wonderful.
Any questions?
Questions? You have really stepped it up this year with amazing opportunities. I mean, not only the literacy workshop was amazing.
Well, financial literacy.
The financial
Oh, yeah,
literacy,
absolutely,
was
absolutely.
incredible. And now you also have not one but two SAT, ACT workshops, and also the career and technical education sort of presentation. This is amazing. What an asset to our entire community. Thank you so much to you and all of the FAAPN folks who make all of these good things happen for us.
Thank you, thank you.
Okay, and moving on to our last district update, we have Ms. Margaret Hendrickson, our Director of Curriculum Instruction and Assessment, to give us an update on the instructional coaching model that we've been utilizing this year.
Good evening, Board of Education, and Dr. Delgado. Need to go slideshow. Isn't it this one right here? Nope. This looks different. Someone in the back, help me. There we go. Okay, awesome. I am here to really just give a little update on our student-centered coaching that we are doing in Farmington Public Schools. We have a long history of having instructional coaches in the district, but have taken some intentional efforts last year and this year to really develop a strong, firm model where we maximize the impact that our coaches have alongside teachers in the classroom each and every day. We believe that each and every teacher deserves to learn alongside a coach. This work that we do is hard. It has an art and a science to it, and we don't want our staff members, our teachers, to do that alone. So having instructional coaches in the buildings allow each of our teachers to have a partner in doing this work. That coaching partnership really empowers teachers to increase their impact as they also grow in their practice. Our coaching model really makes a few basic assumptions. That when we're involved in coaching, it is about teacher learning, but most importantly, it's about student learning. So really the intention of coaching is how do we support teachers in growing their practice in a way that we see visible impact on student learning during the coaching experience. And when we see evidence of student learning, that provides an opportunity for us to grow in our practice and build our own self-efficacy. Each of our coaches engage teachers in what we call coaching cycles. Coaching cycles is a collaborative opportunity between the teacher and their coach to work together for about 4 to 6 weeks. They work together to goal set, where they set student-centered learning goals for that period of time, that they then co-plan and co-teach together to support instruction and learning for those students. And that involves often micro-modeling, where the coach is modeling for the teacher. But what we do is we start with modeling, and then we have opportunities where they co-teach. And the coach might be doing a little more of the teaching, and then over time is releasing, and the teacher is doing more of the co-teaching as we build the teacher's practice and as they build their collaborative relationship. And along the way, there's always a focus on what's the impact of our teacher practice on student learning as we monitor the student goals. So no matter the classroom, no matter the coach, the coaching cycle has these main elements of goal setting, co-planning and co-teaching, micro-modeling, and reflection on impact in our practice. We want to make sure we're making a tight connection between the teacher practice that's happening and the student learning that is happening. In order for the student-centered coaching model to work, we need to make sure we are structured to support the model. So the first thing that we did was reinvest in the work of Diane Sweeney, who has a student-centered coaching model. That's a coaching approach that she coins the phrase of and provides research around. So we have reinvested in learning around her coaching model. In light of that, our elementary coaches have 4 coaching windows throughout the year. So we start at the beginning of the year and then set up a calendar of 4 coaching windows that are about 6 to 8 weeks long, with some breaks between those windows. Within that time, they are doing coaching cycles with up to 5 teachers. We started at 3 to 4, then 4 to 5, and we're increasing the number of teachers that they coach in every cycle as they increase in their capacity and their strength in coaching. Those coaches need to have really strong support. So we have monthly coaching PLC meetings in which the coaches meet with me. Each coach has a partner, a fellow coach that they partner with, that they meet with each week for 30 minutes to kind of support each other in their learning and their reflection. I meet with each coach monthly for a 30 to 45-minute check-in where I kind of coach them through their coaching cycles and some of their successes and their opportunities for growth. We also provide quarterly professional development for them on whatever kind of topics and concepts are arising in where they would like to do some more collaborative learning. The coaches and I also partner with building leadership because it's really important for building leadership to have an understanding of the model. And the building leadership works with the coaches in terms of identifying who will be coached each cycle. What we're trying to do at the elementary level is ensure that we have enough coaching windows with enough teachers being coached each window that we can get to a place where each and every teacher, each and every year at the elementary level is being coached. Off to the right, you'll see the list of instructional coaches that we have, which includes elementary and secondary.
How do you select your coaches?
So we have, I do multiple part interviews. So when we do have an instructional coach position open, we do a job posting as we would for any position. And I usually do kind of a 2 to 3 part interview. One is with a initial group. We do coaching with an initial group of stakeholders where they have to do a performance task as well as answer questions. And then I usually do a second round that does another performance task with a round of questions with a different stakeholder group. And then I do a one-on-one interview when we get to a place where we feel like we've landed on a few candidates that we potentially want to move forward as a recommendation to the HR.
Thank you.
Yes.
Are these typically teachers who are already part of our system?
So we're very blessed at this point where we actually have a mixture of teachers, coaches that have historically been a teacher in Farmington Public School, as well as some individuals that have come from the outside. It all just depends on the pool. Sometimes we've had large interview pool from internal, and sometimes we've had less. It just depends on the year and what time of year that we've posted the position. But right now we have a mix.
And it's a full-time position. It's not
a
like I'm
full-time-
half-time in my
It's
classroom and
a
half.
full-time teaching position. They are non-student load-bearing, so they are each and every day, they work with teachers all week. Our intention is to, and you'll see in the data, some intentions we have about what their day and weeks look like.
Yeah, I like everything about this, but, one of the things, I think you said, but I just want to reinforce that even though a teacher gets coached this year, then it's not a one and done, it's a continuous cycle of coaching. Mm-hmm. Because there's always things to improve. And just in my role as a board member, I guess, in the research and things that I've learned that one of the keys to improving student achievement is to have highly effective teachers. And so this really helps our teachers become more effective. And I'm just looking back to my own teaching practice where one year I just had one prep, I taught the same thing, and I felt like I got 5 years worth of experience in 1 year. So having this opportunity to get that collaboration and that feedback and to put things into practice, and this is in addition to your teachers meeting in their PLC groups and meeting within their buildings also. It's above and beyond that.
Yep, and it's in addition to the professional development we offer that comes in other forms. We strongly believe that coaching support is important for each and every teacher in our system, whether they're brand new to the profession or they've been with us for 30 years. As we have a pool of coaches, we have an instructional coaching model that we've been following. It's important that while we're meeting the needs of individual teachers through these coaching cycles, that we're also reinforcing the instructional focus of the school district. And so all of our coaches somehow layer in elements of the profile of a lifelong learner as they think about what instructional practice is going to support the profile of a lifelong learner. They bring in strategies that support positioning, authenticity, and noticing. So regardless of what the teacher focuses around a student goal, we can layer in teaching practices aligned with these instructional focuses for the district in order to not just move individual teachers forward, but move the collective practice of the organization towards our instructional focus that we've defined as part of our district improvement plan. Because if we have a common focus, then we build collective practice. Even though coaching is a very personal, professional experience for an individual, it is for a greater good. And many of our coaches actually then also connect their coaching cycles to the school improvement goals that are at their building level. So we've worked for a year and a half to really build a strong coaching model that's supportive of teacher practice and student learning. We want to make sure that we're progress monitoring our model. So part of our progress monitoring comes from when I meet with each coach each month, right? When we meet as a group PLC each month, when we do our professional learning every quarter, we are constantly progress monitoring our experiences and our learning. One of the important parts of this coaching model is that our coaches are spending more than 60% of their time each week inside a classroom working alongside a teacher. So we use a tool called Connect Hub, where each coach kind of tracks their interactions. There's a lot of different numbers and graphs up here, but the compelling piece, this is one sample coach who allowed me to share her data, is see at the top on the right-hand side where it says total interactions, and there's a bracket. That bracket's at around 4 items. In classroom interactions, in a coaching cycle, 159. The number of coaching sessions, which is goal setting, co-planning, is the next one down in black, which is 69. Then it's in-classroom experiences outside of a coaching cycle. So while we have these main coaching cycles in which coaches work with individual teachers, they also have other opportunities between coaching cycles and within those windows to reconnect with people they've already coached so they have that sustained conversation. And so we're finding that our coaches are moving towards a place where the majority of their time, over 60% of their time, is in the classroom, with the other percent of their time being in active coaching conversations, goal setting, and co-planning with teachers. They are not doing intervention. They're not being a resource collector. They are working alongside teachers in their growth. So we have some data where we track our interaction types so that we push on that importance of the model. Another piece that we collect along the way is artifacts of the impact. So what we've noticed in our asynchronous professional development that we offer and some of our in-person choice sessions, we're starting to see teachers alongside their coaches presenting at professional development sessions. That's impacting the larger grade level or grade band. So you'll notice here to the left, it says bringing joy to writing. Nicole Jones and Monica Brennan joined together as a result of her learning in a coaching cycle. She supported other teachers in thinking about how to improve practice around writing. So that gives teacher power to support teacher learning. What you'll notice in the middle are examples of what we're seeing in classrooms as a result of coaching cycles. So on the left-hand side, you'll see this circle with these arrows going to create, decompose, and add. Andrea Edwards at Longacre, part of the school improvement plan is around deconstructing and constructing learning targets, which we know are an important resource for teachers and students. What we're seeing throughout their building is evidence of this learning target concept mapping strategy that they're using in their classrooms. So when we see a coach doing coaching cycles connected to its school improvement plan, which is also connected in this case to positioning, we're seeing evidence of that practice across classrooms. So we're building not only individual practice, but collective practice. And oftentimes my coaches share other pictures of some of the practices they're working on with teachers. So the one on the right, how can science and engineering protect people from natural hazards? That is the use of question boards that one of our coaches, Beth DePonio, was using as part of a science coaching cycle. So we collect a lot of different evidence pieces of impact. The last one is a quote from Rhonda Henry at Longacre, really talking about how compelling her coach, Andrea Edwards, in this situation has really helped to move forward their school improvement plan and the strategies and activities they have in that. And that's the end. What questions might you have?
I would just like to say that when, like Ms. Heinrich, when I was teaching in a public school system and we were sent to training for the new math curriculum or the new writing curriculum, we were given all of this training and all of these materials and then thrown back into our classroom. And you can imagine how many of us didn't get it right. You know, we listened, we took notes, we paid attention, but to have to go from the theory to implementation without any additional assistance. And so all of that money and all of that training really went to waste because we didn't have these levels of support, of ongoing support, the co-teaching, the micro, I forgot what the term was.
Micro-modeling.
Micro-modeling. This is amazing to be able to offer this level of support to our teachers because it's the students who are going to benefit the most from all of this investment. Yes? Ms. Smith?
So we have these coaches in place now, and this will be a continuation throughout. It's not going anywhere. They will be.
That is not my intent or our intent. Instructional coaching is an important part of the sustained job-embedded professional learning that we feel will truly move the collective practice forward. And it's one of the highlighted, high-leverage practices for moving teacher learning and supporting teacher growth.
So that's a yes.
Yes, we're going to keep it, yeah.
Mr. Walker and then Ms. Heinrich?
No, go ahead.
In your opinion, how does practices like this and the development of a culture like this for our teaching staff, how does that play into supporting teacher retention, teachers feeling good about their job and wanting to continue to be here in Farmington?
It's a really important part of talent development. Sustained professional development is one of the high leverage practices in retention. So we can do the one professional development we do on one day, let's say around EL skills block that we're going to be doing. It's when you layer in ongoing, sustained coaching support on connecting the expectation to the practice in the classroom. The coaching is that bridge that we move teacher learning forward, and we move through improve their self-efficacy and improve their joy in the work that they're doing. When teachers are not in isolation, they have higher efficacy and higher joy in the profession. And so we need to make sure we're creating collaborative opportunities for staff. This is one example of that. So I think it's an important part. I will have to praise the work of our coaches. We are unique right now in neighboring districts in the model we've put in place. So in some districts, the coaches are present and they're kind of waiting for people to come to them for coaching. We're saying, we don't want to wait because you deserve it now. And so we're creating a model that sets up a structure. You know, Dr. Coffin talks a lot about, are we structured for success? Are we structured to do the work? We created the model and the structure to make sure that our teachers have access to that because we need to maintain and retain and grow the capacity of our staff.
Yeah, I'm just trying to formulate my question. I mean, as far as having all of your teachers buy into it, you know, I can see coaching and this collaboration for new teachers, but you have experienced teachers. And so did you have any difficulty getting all of your teachers to buy into it? And then the other point of the question is, this coaching model is a partnership and it's a collaboration, and these coaches in no way are evaluating the teachers. It's all focused on the students, which is really what, you know, all best practices are. It's like looking at student learning and things like that. So can you just maybe share how you got everybody to buy into it? Because I know working in a building, you know, it's hard to get your whole building to buy into things.
So in short, there's a continuum of readiness of who's ready and willing to open their doors to coaching. But one of the important parts to ensure we have a culture for learning is to behave in a way, to talk in a way, and message in a way that says coaching is for all. And it's that administrator alongside the coach, alongside the teacher in that building, really setting up that each and every one of us deserves to learn, and we can't be it alone. And so we message with the right language, we behave in a way that is supportive of coaching. If we build a model that's only for a new teacher, then we're saying coaching is only for new teachers. If we build a model that we're only using for the teachers we're concerned about, then that's only built for the people we're concerned about. So we say each and every one of you will be a part of coaching. It's not about targeting these subgroups. It's about everybody. There is still some resistance. Each building is in a little different place in where their building culture is and the teacher readiness, because this model we started last year into this year is different than the model and expectations that was set up previously. So it is a lift for the organization, it's a lift for the building, but we are seeing great gains. I had one coach, I won't name the building because I think all of our buildings are doing good work, came to me at the beginning of the year. They had already stacked all of their coaching cycles, had been completely full with every staff member from that building starting in September and October. And that was a result of the partnership between the principal and the coach.
Mr. Walker.
I just wanted to take a moment and lift up a word that you used several times in your presentation that I think is underserved and underrecognized, and that is the word joy as it relates to the teaching profession. We talk about, quite frankly, about how we need to be modeling behavior for our students, but if we are working and developing a culture, and I'm particularly piqued by this because you use that specific word, if we're modeling a culture of joy, if we're working intentionally to create that aspect in our teaching staff, and they feel good about what they're doing, how they're doing, and then the investment that is being poured into them, that should be one of those intangibles that should be poured into the students when they're in the classroom and they're interacting with them. Seen personally too many instances of joyless teachers in a classroom creating joyless classroom environments, and I wouldn't care what was being tested, I wouldn't care what the content was, I wouldn't care how intelligent the student was. Who wants to be encountered or have an encounter, with a joyless person who care less about what they're doing because they feel like they're being cared less upon in the first place? And so I really like that word. I like the intentionality behind that being a part of the system that you're creating. It's a word that some people might poo-poo because we can't track in terms of data what joy is. But you can get that through comments, you can get that through information, you can see that being modeled and demonstrated with your interactions. And I would personally, as a person who's been in the classroom, been in the high schools and so forth, and been around the teaching profession as well, continue to make that one of your pillars, please.
Thank you.
Very nice. You also use the term deserve. So it's not about, well, this teacher needs this extra help or support. We each deserve. And that is, I can only imagine as an educator, if I had that kind of support ever in my career, what a gift that would be. And I'm so thrilled that that is exactly what we're providing for our teachers here.
And that's the importance of language. That word joy, that word deserve is important in the language.
Yes.
And I believe that is our intent.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
Thank you.
And those are the end of our district updates. Just one final word, and again, my thanks to Mrs. Hendrickson and her leadership of the instructional coaches. We firmly believe that these systems, these structures will pay dividends, that this will change for the better our academic achievement. We know it takes time, and as she mentioned, we just started this new model last year. And so, but it takes time, it takes commitment, it takes hiring the right people and training the right people, and then to Mrs. Heinrich's point about having that receptiveness of the staff, and that will translate to improved academic performance. We believe that all the things that we're doing, from program adoption to structures to systems, will improve the academic achievement through the joy in the classroom and their application of their knowledge. And that's why I wanted to wish our students well on their standardized tests next week, which are important, but it's equally important that we're putting structures in place that we know are going to change for the better. And it's going to take us a little time, but we're moving in the right direction. So thank you.
Dr. Ball, can
Yes.
I speak to what Dr.
Yes,
Delgado just said?
absolutely.
And I really appreciate what you just shared, Dr. Delgado, because I think we have to take into consideration, while there is great urgency, and understandably so, that there's great urgency to move our students to the best place that they could possibly be academically, personally, and so forth. We have to understand, when I say we, I mean the community at large has to always understand that we're not dealing with widgets. We're dealing with human beings, little human beings, and we're dealing with larger human beings, all of whom take time. They move at different progressions. But if we have systems in place and we can track and we can work and we can hear from the people being impacted, both on the student level and on the teacher level and on the administrative level, and be able to course correct, and we can be consistent in that level of leadership, I think there's plenty of data out there that suggests and states that improvement can happen and can happen over, I want to say a fairly short period of time, but short is obviously relative, but I just applaud what we're doing and the changes that we're making. And I just encourage consistency, course correction where needed, being bold enough and courageous enough to say, okay, we were wrong here, let's shift and go here now, so that we can always be at our best for our teachers, for the rest of our staff, and most certainly for our students. So just wanted to lift that up and continue to encourage you and the entire staff as well.
Thank you for that.
So much of what I've been reading over the last few months, this is a book I picked up just the other day at the National School Board Association conference, the new classroom instruction that works, the best research-based strategies for increasing student achievement. It could have been written in Farmington. So much of what we're doing here is what is recommended as the best research-based strategies for increasing student achievement. So we are absolutely on the right track. So thank you so much. All right. Next, we have reports from board committees, and I have one from our legislative committee. We formed a legislative committee on our board last year with the intention of thinking forward to a time soon when we might, as a district, have a need or a desire to approach our legislators at the state level for permission to try some things a little bit differently. And so our goals as a legislative committee are twofold. One is to continue to develop relationships with our legislators, and also to explore what our options are, what kind of permission or latitude do we already possess, or might we need to ask for as we continue moving forward as a district with our strategic plan. And at our most recent legislative committee meeting, we went ahead and began taking a look at the Michigan merit curriculum requirements at the state level. And I'd like to just read to you a small section from the Michigan merit curriculum. This is their explanation, the state's explanation, courses versus credits. The Michigan merit curriculum reimagines what the diploma represents. With credit based on student proficiency instead of seat time, the diploma represents what the students know and can do, not the courses that they took. Credits don't have to equate to courses. Instead, courses, CTE programs, work internships, and other learning opportunities can provide pieces of a variety of credits, filling up the credit pipeline. So what we discovered as we began discussing this last week is that we had the power to get home the whole time. We have the red ruby slippers on our feet already. The state of Michigan already gives school boards permission not to change what the requirements are, but to creatively determine what we decide satisfies and meets those requirements. So a lot of the kinds of ideas that we've had as strategic planning committees and that Dr. Delgado, you and your team are thinking about, we have permission as a board to grant those wishes already. One other part I'd like to read. The legislation also allows for specific credit requirements and/or content standards to be modified based on the individual learning needs of a student. It is designed to serve students who want to accelerate or go beyond the MMC requirements, as well as students who need to individualize learning requirements to meet the MMC requirement. And at the conference, just this past weekend, I had an opportunity to attend several sessions with school districts from other states who are personalizing their learning plans for all of their high school students. So there are models already in practice out there that we can borrow from, and I'm so excited to report that we already have the power to do creative things. So when we get to that point, we're in good shape. So that is the end of my report. Okay. Next, we have discussion items. And I believe, Ms. Fox, you have something to share with us?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
So today, I'd like to talk to you guys about the review of the opioid antagonist policy adoption for a discussion for this evening. The policy is Policy 006 under the health and safety of our Board of Education bylaws and policies. You probably have seen this when you went through your whole piece and you saw that there were red print in certain parts of that, and that is basically from our attorney, Miller Johnson School Policy Services, and they are recommending some updates for that particular policy. But before we begin with the policy itself, I'd like to provide you with what I think the school board members and our community should understand in terms of this policy language. First of all, opioids. Opioids are powerful, pain-reducing medicine and include oxycodone and morphine and other items of medication. And while they have benefits as well, but also often potentially they are seriously at risk. Too many Americans have been impacted by the serious harms associated with the medication. Despite ongoing effort, the scope of opioids crisis continue to grow. The opioid antagonist is the medication that is approved by the Food and Drug Administration, FDA, and is designed to rapidly reverse and block the effects of opioid drugs. On March the 16th, we did have a policy meeting whereby I believe that Mr. Shelton also had some information regarding the Narcan, which is the opioid antagonist. Okay, so hopefully he may be able to answer some questions after we go through the policy, which is an addition of the opioid antagonist. So I'm just going to bear with me where I read through this process, and you probably have seen where there's red prints that has been recommended by our attorney. But the school district will acquire, purchase, and maintain at least 2 functioning heparin auto rejections, EpiPen, and at least 1 functioning opioid antagonist for each and every school building it operates. And there is properly trained school district, properly trained school district personnel or authorized contractors will administer an opioid antagonist to any individual for whose school's grounds who is believed to have an opioid overdose. So the whole possession here talks a bit about the opioid injection to any individual on school grounds who is believed to be having a reaction, or any student who has a prescription on file at the school. The district will notify the parents or legal guardians of any students to whom the district administers the EpiPen injection or the opioid antagonist on school grounds or at school-related activities. In the case of a believed opioid-related overdose for a student, the school district will also encourage the parents and/or legal guardian to seek treatment for the students from the Substance Use Disorder Services Program license under Part 62 of the Public Health Code, which is 1978 PA 368. The school district will also call 911 when a student is believed to have an opioid-related overdose. I just wanted to read this to make you really understand that this is a problem that we have a plan in place for each and every building that we offer. And so I was hoping that maybe Mr. Shelton could also come in and provide some additional information.
Thank you very much. I think you covered that pretty thoroughly, Ms. Fox. Just a couple points that I'd like to either emphasize or reiterate. Excuse me one second. So we originally started going down this path between myself and our district nurse, Mary Larson, talking about the need for the Narcan in our school buildings. And Mary became aware of a national program that would actually provide not just the doses of Narcan, but also the training that goes along with that, free of cost to the district. So, the first step was really getting this policy in place to support it. And the policy that you're looking at tonight is actually the existing, and I think Ms. Fox mentioned this, it's the existing epinephrine policy with the additions to support the Narcan as well.
Yes.
So we believe strongly that we're able to bring this to the district really free of cost, and it's something that's sorely needed to have on hand. We're very fortunate our school resource officers all carry Narcan on them currently. We enjoy great response time from our local law enforcement and first responders, but nonetheless, to have these doses physically in every building across the district, I think would be a great thing. As Ms. Fox said, I think Narcan, you cannot harm somebody by administering Narcan to them. So once the board is able to review and approve this policy, our plan will be to launch into training immediately with our building crisis teams and have these in place.
Thank you. Any questions? Any ideas? Questions?
So Ms. Smith and then Ms. Hardwick?
Will this be in all the schools, or is it just middle school and high school?
All the schools, and it's actually the requirement of the national organization that we're working with, that we don't just focus on the secondary schools, but we get it in all the schools across the district.
Thank you.
And every individual who's trained will receive not just a dose, but if that dose is administered or if that dose expires, the organization will also replace it for free.
Okay, that was my second question.
Yep.
Thank you. Ms. Heinrich?
Yeah, and I just wanted to review, we talked at the meeting, every year, all the schools have to review their EpiPen training. And so there's staff trained on that. And so in addition to that, then the staff will be also in the building be trained on the Narcan.
Correct.
And you have, it won't be every teacher required, but you'll have targeted individuals within the building.
Correct. Our initial discussion is looking at our principals, our front office staff, as well as possibly expanding that to every building has a crisis team. That's a small group of 6 to 7 people. So we may go so far as to train the entire crisis team if our sponsoring organization can support those numbers.
Mr. Walker?
I think you just answered it, but who makes up the crisis team in each one of the buildings? Is it those persons you just mentioned and any other designated probably by the principal?
Correct. So each building has their own process for identifying those people. Typically, it's staff who are able to meet in a crisis who aren't necessarily classroom teachers. There are buildings that have classroom teachers on their crisis teams. But generally, it's a small group of 6, 7, 8 staff members, including front office staff, ancillary staff like social workers, counselors, and sometimes classroom teachers as well.
Okay.
Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Shelton.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Mr. Shelton.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fox. Okay, it is time for public comment. I believe the cards are on that table over there, on that side of the room this evening. If you have public comment, you're welcome to fill out a card and place it in Mrs. Barron's greenish blue ceramic container. Excuse me. So as we enter into public comment, I would like to, and this is again something that I learned a lot about just this past weekend at several sessions, that public comment is an opportunity for the public to take 2 to 3 minutes to share compliments, issues of concern, and so forth. It is not meant to be a dialogue. We will follow up with you after the meeting, but it is only intended because this is our meeting being held in public, not a public meeting. There won't be dialogue and discussion at this time. And most of the school districts that I spoke with this weekend give 2 minutes for public comment, while we give 3. So that is pretty standard, just for your information among school districts throughout the country for school board meetings. So that said, we have Mr. Bill Lubaway. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. And you should have this chart, which you've seen before, which is the decline in enrollment that we've experienced in this district. And Farmington has been described as a destination school district. Despite its declining enrollment and its D quality rating. Over the last 10 years, Farmington and Farmington Hills population have grown 14%, while Farmington Public Schools enrollment has declined 21%. This is not great news. There's a 35% gap that we're not addressing and we never talk about. That doesn't sound like a destination district to me. The second topic I'd like to talk about, or I started thinking about it, was the learning loss. And when it comes right down to it, my problem is it would be nice to come up here with joy and reflect on the progress that this district has made, but you don't tell anybody about it. You don't have any hard goals. You're a $150 million business, a business. You've got 8,500 students who count on you. You have 1,100 staff. And you've talked about some good things that you've done here. Oh, good. You got 685 people watching on the TV and what we're talking about here, and you have done nothing in years to communicate the progress that you're making. You're just hiding the problems you have. You're not telling people something positive. Here's where we are. This is where we're going. Here are the steps we're making. And no, we recognize it is urgent, and we just haven't gotten around to telling you what the timetable is for fixing this district. D is crappy. And this chart out here, I think the public has caught up with this. It would be nice to say something positive sometime.
Thank you, sir. Next, we have Mr. Eugene Greenstein. Good evening.
Good evening. Reading and math literacy are still the topic of discussion. This would not be an issue if there was a clear and visible plan to resolve the problems which have been around for many years. As taxpayers, we expect the Board of Education to have specific measurable performance targets as their goals for academic achievement that are reflected in the goals of the superintendent and his cabinet. The present board goals reflect things the board will do for itself, not targets for FPS academic achievement that the board will manage. The management methodology should not be just numbers, but needs to address the causes of poor or good performance and actions to remediate the problems and expand best practices. The board is proud to speak about its definition of a lifelong learner, but that admirable goal is meaningless if student overall literacy is abysmal. We certainly are pleased that a phonics program was instituted for K through 2. However, where's the rest? We can't wait another year for a program for grades 3 to 6. Then there are the upper grades. It's a crime against humanity to let students graduate without the ability to read at grade level. After grade 3, inability to read is a significant handicap to become a good student. More than that, it leads to low self-esteem and behavior problems near term and significant societal problems once the students are out of the school system. A few meetings ago, we learned that we don't have enough tutors to fix the reading gap. The board has not had an agenda item on remediating the tutor constraint or to prioritize where we will apply the tutors. Are all needy seniors covered? How about the third graders, etc.? This is a strategic issue, yet where is the board working with the superintendent to resolve it? What's the plan? While we have discussed reading, math performance is more abysmal, and that has not been addressed. As taxpayers, we expect our schools to be run as a business, whose product is high-performing students that will contribute to society. A successful business needs to be managed, needs to meet its objectives, both academic and financial. Today, the board talked about developing a financial plan. Well, I actually didn't see that. I thought it was on the agenda. However, without having an adequate education plan, we have no basis for a financial budget. Einstein is rumored to have said, if you keep doing the same thing over and over and expect a different result, that is the definition of insanity. After watching this board for the past year, it's clear there's no basis for developing a budget other than pulling numbers out of the air and hoping we'll have educated students next June who will come close to meeting grades at grade level. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Thomas Hall.
Good evening again. Yeah, my comment is pretty much that I've noticed there have been an uptick of African American students exiting the Farmington public school system, in which that is a concerning of me from what the position I have, because I'm trying to encourage everybody to stay, but and also fix any kind of issues that we're having, what I suggest is a more direct agenda to address these issues that a lot of the African American students feel that they're not being heard on a lot of issues and treated in a dismissive way. And it's very concerning for me as a parent with African American kids to, from what I'm hearing from their experiences and everything like that in the district. So I would like to see some kind of more action, some deliberate action to address those particular issues with the kids. I know it's a history that we've been having a problem with that with Farmington's public schools for a long time, and I'd like to see some actual, exponential changes that's being directed. So that's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Hull. Mr. David Villar.
Hello, everyone. Hi. So I'm still hoping that we can get some parent surveys, developed to get parent feedback on, in areas where their students may need help with or performance concerns or anything like that. I think that'll help us get more progress with any concerns that either the school board may have or the parents as a whole may have, because the parents who actually have students, in the school district, their opinions, in my humble opinion, matter more than people who don't have students actually attending the schools. So, everyone's opinion in the community matters, but, if you're a parent, your voice should, be heard and be given more weight as far as solutions. And you may have something like this already, and I just don't see it on the website, or I haven't asked the right person, but I really think that everyone will benefit from this. So I'm going to just keep bringing it up every time I come here. And as always, if community members that are not involved in the direct activities with the students, if those community members are not directly involved, then their opinions should have less weight than the parents and the community members who are involved directly with the students.
Thank you, Mr. Villar. Is there any other public comment? Any other public comment? Seeing no further public comment is now closed. Next, we have some action items this evening. Approval of the Reproductive Health Instructional Resource Adoption, the Puberty Workshop for grades 4 and 5. Yes, Ms. Heinrich.
This item was presented in detail at the March 21st regular meeting. We had preview of the material and discussion on it. I move that the Board of Education approve the Reproductive Health Instructional Resource Adoption Puberty Workshop for grades 4 and 5 as presented.
Support.
Motion by Ms. Heinrich, supported by Mr. Walker. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, let's go ahead and, Zach's not here to ask if we need a roll call vote. We're not talking.
You do.
Is it an expenditure? Okay.
You do need a roll call.
It's an adoption.
Okay. Oh, that's true, it's an adoption. Mr. Walker, would you please give us a roll call vote?
Of the members who are here, Ms. Fox,
Yes.
Ms. Heinrich,
Yes.
Ms. Smith,
Yes.
I myself am yes, and Dr. Blau.
Yes.
Adoption carried.
Action item, approval of the budget timeline, parameters, and assumptions. Yes, Ms. Heinrich.
Ms. Smith had her hand up.
Oh, Ms. Smith,
Go ahead.
go ahead.
I move that the Board of Education approve the budget timeline, parameters, and assumptions for 2023, 2024 as presented.
Support.
Motion by Ms. Smith, supported by Mr. Walker. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, let's go ahead and do a roll call vote just to be on the safe side.
Ms. Fox?
Yes.
Ms. Heinrich?
Yes.
Ms. Smith?
Yes.
Myself am yes, and Dr. Blau.
Yes.
Approval carried.
Wonderful. Next, we have the consent agenda. Yes, Ms. Heinrich.
I move that the Board of Education approve the April 4th, 2023 consent agenda as follows. A, approval of minutes. Number 1, March 21st, 2023, regular meeting.
Support.
Motion by Ms. Heinrich, supported by Ms. Smith. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Okay, motion passes. Reports from board representatives. Do we have any board representative reports this evening? Seeing none, we will move forward. What about recommendations for future agenda items? Okay. Seeing none, we will go forward with good and welfare. Yes, Ms. Smith.
We were all able to have the opportunity to go visit the IB, excuse me, I'm getting over stuff. We had the opportunity to go over to Farmington High the Thursday before break to see 12 students of the IB program in their art exhibits. The art show was beautiful. These students range from all over the grade spectrum. So if you're still interested, I do believe the artwork is still up. If you happen to be over at Farmington High School. Also, the last day, I read over at Kinbrook Elementary. And I was given a book by a teacher from STEAM Academy, and it's called No Elephants Allowed. Elephants is my favorite pet, but this book is one of the it's about including students and including everyone. And it was amazing to hear how these first graders, and thank you, Miss Ali, for the opportunity to come in and read. These students were able to know what it meant to be excluded or excluded. And it's talking about teaching them lessons. And the reason I'm talking about this, I know people are gonna, well, she went on about this before, but reading is important. Just because you read a book doesn't mean you comprehend. And I go into the schools and read because of the literacy. And all students need to have that literacy, whether it's them reading it or someone reading it to them. I go in costume simply because it gives those students the opportunity not only to see me being other than a community member or a board member that can have fun, but it gives them time and attention to really grasp what you're reading. But I encourage any parent with young students to pick up that book. It's very touching. I read it to fifth graders too, but that book teaches you how to include everyone and not to bully, not to be exclusive, but to be accepting and include all. So that's my tangent tonight, but I would like everyone to think of not only that book, but think of our last meeting that we had with our community dialogue. And let's be kind to all and be kind to others. This country is going through a lot right now. And prayers to the families in Tennessee that lost their children in those families. But let's be vigilant as adults and be more compassionate on how we treat each other. So pick up that book. It's a first grade reader.
What's the title again, Ms.?
It is called No Elephants Allowed. And it's a really cute little book. but it teaches you how to be inclusive. So thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Smith. Yes, Ms. Heinrich.
Oh, I finished Scylla over the school break, and I just want to thank her school district, for everybody's reading one book. If anybody wants to have a book discussion, I just love to talk about it, and I have grandchildren in different grade levels, and so every time I see them, I talk about the book with them, and just a great opportunity for love of reading and just to lift up our district, like one of the things that we're doing. And just, every grade, every teacher had different ways of presenting it. But it really encouraged parents to read with their children also, which when my kids were in school, I always read the books that they read also. So, it's a win-win for everyone. And the Rise and Thrive Awards today, our school district really does such a nice job of recognizing all of our students. And thank you, Dr. Delgado, for your leadership in changing the title and the purpose. And really, the parents were so proud, and it was so nice to see the teachers and the staff members there that really, nominated the students and were there to support them also.
Thank you, Ms. Heinrich. Anything else? Any other good and welfare? All righty. Then we are adjourned. Thank you. Yes.
On the policy.
Pardon me?
I had a run.
I wish.
No, I'm glad I didn't go because I received a certified